Welcome everybody, we are Josh and Maria Savage and welcome to the Family Collective, and today we get to discuss faith for the impossible in our relationships. And this is an area that Maria and I know very well. Not that we know everything, but we are passionate about because it is something that we live through and walk through in our marriage.
Yeah. Like Josh mentioned, this is something we are so passionate about, and so we don't have any notes today or anything. We just want to talk to you really candidly, like you were sitting in front of us, and friends to friends, family to family. So faith for the impossible is, again, something so close to our hearts. And so we went through a place in our marriage and a time and season in our marriage where it looked dead, where we needed that faith for the impossible. And so I want to start out by saying that my faith, it kind of began with me, but the faith that God gave me was through Him. And the closer I got with Him, the more I grew in faith. And it wasn't under my own merit or under my own strength. The more I drew close to Him, the more I grew in faith. And so the circumstance that we were going through in our situation looked dead, and it looked hopeless. And it looked like our marriage was over. But God gave me a promise. And He gave me a promise that He would make all things new. And so I stood on that promise of God's faithfulness, and not on our circumstance or our experience and what I was seeing in the natural, because again, in the natural, things looked dead and they looked more than broken. They looked unrepairable, actually. And so God really spoke to my heart. He said, Maria, I want you to hold on to my promise, because I am a God who keeps His promises. And so, again, it wasn't under my own strength, because the more I leaned into Him, the Holy Spirit continued to breathe His faith in me. In Hebrews 12, and I'm paraphrasing, but it says that we fix our eyes on Jesus and not on the natural realm, what's going on around us, but we fix our eyes on Him. And this was something that God kept on really drilling into my heart during this time. And He said, fix your eyes on me. I don't want you looking on what's going on in the natural realm. I don't want you to look necessarily at the brokenness and the darkness around you, but I want you to fix your eyes on me, because I will continue to lead you into faith. And He did. And so I just want to encourage whoever needs this today is hold on to God's promises. His word is full of His promises, and He is faithful. My faith wasn't in Josh. My faith wasn't even actually in our marriage. It wasn't that Josh would be fine and our marriage would be fine. It was God is faithful. And I didn't know how that looked or even like the steps that would be taken, but I just knew God's faithfulness. And another thing that God really spoke to my heart was to not judge Him on past experiences or on other people's stories. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but God is God. He is the same today as He was yesterday, as He will be forever. And so judge God as faithful, not with what you've experienced in the past or what you've heard, but God is faithful, because God is God.
And just another verse that speaks to us and me is Philippians 4:4, and it talks about to rejoice in the Lord always. And sometimes it could be a little cliche to hear that, or be in a situation where we're experiencing something that's very difficult, or we have some failure in life, or just in the midst of a storm, and here comes somebody up to you and says, hey, Philippians 4:4, rejoice in the Lord always. And you're like, yeah, I get it. Almost like a smack in the face. But the cool part about that is really what it's speaking to there is rejoicing in the Lord always is we're rejoicing in who He is, who God is in the circumstance, not rejoicing in the circumstance itself, regardless of how it looks, how bleak the circumstance is. If there's very little hope, that little bit of hope is enough.
Yeah.
Because God can do miracles through that little bit of hope and faith that we have. So just to remember that going forward is rejoice in the Lord always, but we're rejoicing on who our God is, not what we're going through, what we're experiencing, but who we're serving.
Yeah.
So we just thank you for this time, and just God bless you each one of you guys that's listening. And if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear it, but thank you.
Yeah. And we just pray for you, for God to increase faith and hope within you. He is the God of the impossible, and he can do all things.